Hello, I'm Jana, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to have some fun with some glitz and glam to make a Valentine's Day themed card using the brand new stamp set by Tim Holtz, Love Notes. It is fantastic. If you'd like to see which supplies I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today we are making a fun, distressed, vintagey style Valentine's Day card. For our base, we're going to be using some distressed craft stock, and I am super excited about this. We have got love notes from Tim in the house. This is stamp set CMS477, and check out these fantastic hearts. And look at all these fun quotes. These are absolutely awesome. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be a really fun project. And I've already got my quote picked out. By doing what you love, you inspire the hearts of others. This is going to be perfect. All right, let's get started. So we're going to be stamping, and we're going to be using some of these hearts. I've decided to go with one of the scribbly hearts. We're going to be using the nice chunky one, and we're going to be using a combination of distress glitter with the sticky embossing powder, and of course that means we're going to need the distress embossing dabber. So let's just set that aside for the moment. We've got our stamping block, and let's go ahead, smush that down. So the plan right now is to stamp about one half of the card with hearts, and then we'll go back and do the other half, because the sticky embossing powder, it is definitely a tricky thing when it comes to timing, and we're going to need to be ready to go the second this gets heated. So if I do about half the card first and half the card after, we should have plenty of time to get everything stuck and in place. And that glitter is going to look so, so good. Very excited about that. So just dabbing and stamping. I'm not trying to really have these go all the same direction. They can be a bit lopsided, just as long as we're getting some hearts on here, because this is going to be the background. Okay. Let's see, I think one more heart, and that's going to be just about half. Okay, good. So we've got that. Now I'm going to need some paper so we can catch the drips of powder. Okay. Got paper, set that down, and let's pour the embossing powder. This particular technique is all about timing. It's a tricky one, but it's absolutely worth it for the beautiful glitter. Just have a little bit of powder where I don't want it. Scrape that off. Good. Okay, so we have our hearts. We're going to put the powder right back into the jar. Okay, I'm just setting that off to the side. Good. So we're going to heat this in real time. I am going to try to mute the volume so you guys don't get blasted by the embossing heat tool. This is the Sizzix embossing gun by Sizzix. Okay, so I'm getting everything ready. I'm definitely not going to have time to use the glitter mister, so we're going to unscrew this and have our glitter ready to go. Okay, just set that here. Got that there. All right. It's all going to be about coordination. So with the sticky embossing powder, the main thing is we want the white powder to become transparent. Once it's transparent, that means the glue has been activated and it will be ready to have the glitter dumped right over the top. This is very tricky because there is not a lot of open time between the time the glue is nice and melty and the time it dries. So we have to move very, very fast. Okay, so that's one section. Now we're just moving on to the next. We're getting this all melty. I'm trying to do 2 hearts at a time, but even that might be a little bit too much but we're going to try anyway just so we can get that glitter on there. As soon as it's see-through, got to dump the glitter. And we're just banging off the edges. Okay, and we're going to get those last two at the bottom. Again, I'm moving as quickly as I can and just ready to grab that glue. I'm not even turning off the embossing heat gun. All right, last chunk. Let's get that there. All right, let's see what we've got. We definitely have a bit of a mess, but that's going to be okay. If we can just brush that off, we'll be in great shape. All right. So I'm just taking a paintbrush, and it's a nice dry brush, and we're just gently going over our background to lift any of that extra glitter. Oh, this stuff is just a bit staticky, but I'll just clean this up, and we should have some lovely hearts. Okay, all in all, not bad. We've got our glittery hearts, so that is good. We're going to go ahead and put this on fast forward as we stamp the second half of the card and do the embossing. Here is our finished background, and look how super sparkly that is. I love that. Now, the glitter that I used is some of the very old and vintage Tim Holtz Distress glitter, and that leaves such a great sparkle. But fair warning, this glitter is super staticky, and it is everywhere. I am quite glittery, and I'll definitely need to find some Swifter to clean up with, but it is still really awesome. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on the next layer of our card. For that, we're going to be pulling in some distressed watercolor cardstock, and we're going to need a few distressed spray stains. I decided to go with some not so traditional Valentine's Day colors to get a more vintagey look. We're going to be using Distress Oxide Spray, Salvage Patina, Scorched Timber, and Cocktail Party, the Distress Mica Spray Stain. So I'm going to give that a really good shake to make sure that we get all the sediment incorporated. That way we have all that sparkly goodness on the card. Okay, that needs a little bit more. Good. So now let's go ahead and spritz our background. Got some water here. Now, the majority of the colors are going to be non-traditional, but let's start with the Scorched Timber, because I want this to wick. There, that's perfect. I'll add more water to that. I want that beautiful brown to really spread out on here. There we go. That's pretty good. Now let's go in with the Salvage Patina. This is going to give us a really cool oxidation. Okay, so let's go ahead and dry this off, and then we'll be back in a moment to see about adding some of the Distress Mica Spray Stain. Here is our finished background. Now I'm going to die cut this into a couple of pieces so that it's going to be a layer on top of the craft stock background that we've already created. So back in just a moment with a couple of die cuts. Okay, so we die cut using this die cut, and this is from the Tim Holtz Shadow Box, which is actually a Biggs die, but it came with some really neat thinlits that I like to pull out every now and then as well, because this was meant to like cut a window in the Shadow Box, but makes a great frame for other things. So here is our die cut piece. Now to finish this little piece off, I want to add some Scorched Timber around the edges, just taking a blending tool and working our way around. There we go. Just adding a little bit more grunge here. All right. Not bad. So we'll just set this off to the side for the moment along with our background. Next, we are going to be pulling in love notes again. And we're also going to be using a not so Valentine's Day stamp. I decided that I want to create a little Valentine's Day tree using the Tim Holtz bottle brush trees. This is CMS477. So we're just going to take a stamp, and I have the matching die cut right here. Now, the die cuts are really cool, and they came from Simon Says Stamp. Simon Says Stamp has some fantastic outline die cuts for several of the Tim Holtz sets. I'm actually planning on getting the matching one that goes with Love Notes soon. But either way, we get this really cool die cut, and we've got the bottle brush tree stamp. So we're going to take that stamp, we put it onto our stamping block, and I'm going to be taking some Distress Archival ink, Kitsch Flamingo. I'm just going to ink this up, and we're going to stamp this down. So just very carefully lining things up, and there we go. Push, good firm pressure, and we've got a lovely stamped and die cut image. I am really thrilled with this. Now, let's decorate this little Valentine's Day tree. So we've got our pink tree. Put that tree stamp aside, and we're going to go in with a couple of hearts. I've got this one here and this one. That will be excellent. And to stamp these, we're going to be pulling in some picked raspberry and lumberjack plaid. Let's start with the open-faced heart first. This one we're going to stamp with some picked raspberry. And we're just going to do 3 of these. Let's see here. 1, 2, and 3. Excellent. And now we'll go in with the little heart. Let's swap our inks. Okay, lumberjack plaid. Good. Take that and let's see here, right here. 1, 2, and 3. And now we have a Valentine's Day stamped tree. And that's going to be our focal point for our card. So let's bring the card back. We've got all of these lovely pieces here. Now, before I do anything else, I do want to stamp my sentiment on here, and we're going to need some Distressed Black Archival soot. But let's put these little itty bitty stamps away first before they decide to do something silly like jump onto the floor. Okay, and the stamp that we're going to be using is "By doing what you love, you inspire the hearts of others." So that's going to be the stamp. Okay, we've got the stamp. Let's go ahead and put that right onto the stamp block. And now we'll need our ink. Okay. All right, that should be good. And let's stamp that right here. Perfect. Now, let's see here. Yeah, let's turn that sideways, and that should work. You know what? I like having the sentiment being at an angle. I was thinking about doing that the other way, but I forgot how tall the tree was. But you know what? I like that. It totally works. So, to put this on here, I decided to go with some ATG tape first, and then we'll go back and use some foam squares to give the tree a little bit of lift. So, just run some tape. There we go. Nice and easy. I'll just stick this sideways. I do like that. That works. Okay. Good. And let's grab some small foam squares to give our tree a bit of lift. These are mini foam squares from Simon Says Stamp. And I absolutely love these for popping up small things. All right. Good. Let's take the backings off. Okay, 2 more. Excellent. And let's add the tree. So that can go right here. Yeah, definitely like that. Now, the next thing I want to do is add a strip of ribbon. And we've got all sorts of velvet trim. So, let's see. I think I'm going to want the red. Yeah, the red's going to kind of match the heart. I like that. And if we just put that right here, what do I want that here? Kind of like that. That's like more offset, and then I could finish this with a couple of metallic droplets. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. That looks cool. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll get this. I'm just gonna measure that roughly, and we'll just snip that right here. Good. All right, we'll just set that off to the side. We're going to need our tape, and we're going to very carefully attach that to the velvet trim. You could do this with collage medium, but I have found that sticking the ATG tape right onto the trim works really well. So just, I'm keeping some tension on the trim as I am rolling the adhesive out. There we go. The only thing is, once you stick this down, you literally only get one shot to stick it. That's the only downside. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. So, finishing touches, we're going to need some droplets. Let's go ahead and find those so we can add them. Okay. And now we'll need a dash of collage medium. There we go. Let's see. What do I want to put the droplets? Oh, 4 corners, I think. What do I want to do the 4 corners of that? Ooh, choices. You know what? I'm going to do 3 and 3. That's going to look a little different. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Since we've got different sizes of droplets, why not play with that? Okay. So we need a medium and a large, and then a small. There we go. Just something different. Normally I do the 4 corners, but I think this adds a little bit more visual interest to the card. Yeah, definitely liking that. Okay, there's our medium drop. Now, I'm just going to find a large one and a little one. There we go. Okay. So, that would complete our card. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for some Valentine's Day fun. Here we've gotten a chance to play with the brand new stamp set Love Notes, and we've paired it with some old favorites and a not so traditional stamp turned into something very Valentine's Day like bottlebrush trees. We created a cute little Valentine's Day tree. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's fun crafty video, and until next time, happy crafting.